These are the Skyrocket Juniper. Today we are going to be transforming this garden right behind me by adding some evergreen interest. We are going to be planting 15 evergreen trees. Let me show you what we have. These are the Skyrocket Juniper. They grow 3 feet wide by 15 feet tall. It's going to be the perfect size of a tree and the perfect color to work with our 15 hydrangeas that we planted this spring earlier in the season. So we're going to take these over there. I'm not sure if we can fit all 15 of them, but these are going to be the perfect height and the perfect width because we have spaced our hydrangeas pretty close together. They grow about 8 feet wide and I've spaced them about 9 feet apart from each other. We're going to be placing these junipers just a tiny bit behind the hydrangeas so that this way they can kind of grow in between and behind the hydrangeas and provide that evergreen backdrop. They're not a wide tree, but they will definitely provide a beautiful interest, especially with a difference of color between the foliage of the hydrangea and the foliage of these blue evergreen. I think it's going to be perfect. Later next year, I have some more plants to be adding to that garden, but for now, we're going to work on adding these. And if we do have time, we have some cleanup to do in that garden. But I doubt that we're going to be able to do that because planting 15 evergreen trees is a lot of work. I also have to put some irrigation in that area. Then we're going to be cleaning up these petunias over here. They're totally done. I hope they seated themselves in here a little bit. That would be perfect. And maybe if we have any time left, we will be cutting back all the perennials that are in here. We have maybe not the Agastache because that needs some winter protection, but things like the black-eyed Susans, the Shasta daisies, the goldenrod, those all need to be cut back. But I personally doubt that we can do that today. We're going to do our best first by just planting those evergreen trees. I'm super excited. I can't wait for these to grow. They are very tiny. Those are 1 gallon plants. The reason why I got them this small, 1, is cheaper, 2, it's a lot easier to plant. If you're planting that many evergreen trees at one time or anything at one time, it's easier to plant them in smaller containers because they don't take a lot of work. And even though we are planting in the fall, these evergreen trees will require some watering to keep them moist so that they can establish themselves because we are heading in winter. We are in November 3rd today. Our temperatures are starting to get cold. I'm wearing a coat today. I think it's in the 40s right now. So these are pretty cool temperatures. The soil is still warm, so it's perfect to continue to plant for us right now. But evergreens tend to dry out, so we have to just make sure to continue to water them throughout the fall to make sure that they will continue to establish themselves and the early winter as well. And because these are smaller trees, it's a lot easier to water them because they don't require as much water as a larger evergreen would because they have a small space in the soil basically. All right, so let's go ahead, grab them, place them. I need my measuring tape and a shovel and some fertilizer. I have fish bone meal. It's going to be perfect. I also have some chicken manure that I can throw on top after we plant them. Let's go ahead and get started. I finished planting all 14 trees. I still have 1 more tree to plant, which is at the end. I'll show you why I haven't planted it yet. Right now I'm testing the irrigation system. I hooked them up on irrigation and at the same time I'm using it to water them. I just need to put a few staples in here just to make sure that these will stay put. And it looks like it's working pretty well. These can emit 12 gallons per hour. I can adjust them to the level that I want. Right now, I think they might be like at 5 gallons or something like that. I did like 4 or 5 clicks, and that would be about 5 gallons. So I'm just gonna take these staples and put them on each of these, just to make sure that they're just gonna stay in place and looking good. The Skyrocket Juniper is going to grow about 18 inches per year. That's a pretty fast growth. So in just about 3 to 4 years, they're going to be as tall as these Spartan junipers. These Spartan junipers have been in here for 3 years, I think, so far. They've put on a lot of growth. So I would say maybe a little bit, they would be a little bit smaller, maybe like right about here. That would be pretty good growth. The hydrangeas do grow a lot quicker, but I think the junipers will be able to catch up and they will fill in. Right now they're about 1.5 to 2 feet tall, each of these trees. What's going to happen is that this Alberta spruce is going to be taken down because where the juniper is going to go is basically right at the edge of the Alberta spruce. Also, there's a hydrangea right there, right next to it. You can see I carved that space out so I can plant the hydrangea. So I'm going to be cutting that back tomorrow and then planting the Skyrocket Juniper right there. It looks nice on video, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of this tree. Also, this grass right here has to go. It's beautiful, but it's really annoying in the winter when it just falls over on the driveway, so I do have to cut it back before the snow comes. It is several days later and I've already cut down that tree, planted the last of the Skyrocket Junipers, and staked all of them as well. They're all hooked up on irrigation, every single one of them. I did have some trouble cutting down this tree. It was super dense, and I feel like our chainsaw wasn't super powerful, and it was pretty heavy also. Didn't have a lot of leverage in here, but it worked. I still have to take care of this grass over here. I'm going to be cutting it down completely to the base and covering it with some plastic. I think that's going to smother it, and hopefully it's not going to come back. There is a name for this method that I'm using. I'm actually using the same method over in my vegetable garden to stop the weeds from coming back and smother any weeds that are already there. This method also tends to kill some of the weed seeds that are on the surface of the soil, anything that's kind of 3 inches deep. All these seeds would be killed, but over here all I need to do is just to kill this grass. I have brown plastic that I will be putting it over it once I cut it back, and that's going to hopefully kill that in about a couple seasons, and I won't have to dig it up, because digging up this grass is just, it's not possible. I've tried and it just did not work. I tried it last season and it was totally impossible. I forgot to mention I also did cut back some of the perennials over here. You can see the Shasta daisies are all cut back. I still have a little bit of work to do over here, but overall it looks much cleaner. And I am going to take this goldenrod out of here because it's totally out of proportion. But here it is from this perspective over here. I can't wait to see all these plants grow. It's going to take them about 3 seasons to start putting on some growth. You know, there's this sleep, leap, creep, sleep, creep, leap cycle that the plants go through, which is the first year they sleep, the second year they leap, creep, excuse me, and the third year they leap. So the third year is where I'm expecting them to put on a lot of growth. I still have to put down some chicken manure on all the plants that are in here, the ones that I planted this season, which are the hydrangeas and the evergreens. But other than that, I'm pretty satisfied so far with the progress over here. I will be getting some wood chips probably next season. It's a little bit too late right now to do that. And covering all of this with some wood chips. There are some rocks that I have to take out of here, the gravel that's in here. It's ugly and there's landscaping fabric under it. So all this has to be taken out of here. And we're going to be feeding that soil, providing it with some good wood chips that will break down and feed the soil, and probably some compost around the plants as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!